it was life and death, and I had to figure out how I'm going to pay the medical bills.
Why do you really want this? I'm like, because I don't know. I just feel like I have passion for it. I feel like I really want to do this. I don't see myself doing something else. Hello, everyone. This is Storytime con Yuyo, and today we have a very special guest. But first and foremost, thank you very much for so far checking in, tuning in with us, and we're going to pass on the mic to Freddie.
Today we have Mr. Felix Cardona Jr. Today it is a big day. I think Felix Cardona is probably our biggest guest we've had so far.
Yes.
So I'm actually very excited. And I don't know, Felix, I don't know if you want to say hi real quick.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in on this podcast. I'm very honored to be here, especially on my days. On Saturdays, it's very busy. I have a bunch of block parties that I attend and talk to my residents and just share things. So thank you for allowing me to be here a little bit early to be with you guys.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. More than anything, this podcast is going to be, obviously, we know the tradition of the podcast, which is we go into the experiences of everybody. Mm-hmm. But I also want to give us a little bit of time to get to know what is Felix Cardona's job, mm-hmm. what is an alderman, mm-hmm. And more than anything, like dig into both sides. I want to know Felix Cardona, and I want to know Felix Cardona's job. So okay. we want to go there. I don't know if maybe you have another idea. You want to dig in somewhere else?
I want to dig in more on like the personal Mr. Cardona. But let's start. But what is an alderman, and what does the alderman consist of in the city of Chicago?
So an alderman is a representative of the district of he or she represents. There's 50 wards, so there's 50 aldermen. And within each district is like 60,000 residents that we have to serve. I have the pleasure of serving Belmont-Cragen, part of Belmont-Cragen, part of Hermosa, a little piece of Avondale, and a little piece of Portage Park. So I represent those areas in my district, which is 31. And I'll tell you the boundaries. My boundaries south is Belden. My boundary north is Addison. My boundary west is Major Street, 2 blocks west of Central, and Lawndale, one side of Lawndale, east of Pulaski, all the way up, and I cut into Belmont and Milwaukee over there in that little piece. So my district is pretty big. If you look at my map, it looks like a submarine. It's not drawn crazy like my other colleagues, and it was done. I did that purposely to keep my residents and my ward together from the previous map.
Oh, so you get to decide what your map... Wow, I didn't know that, actually.
I didn't know that.
That's actually pretty interesting.
Cool. Yeah, we get to have input, but it's all done by census data. It's actually cut, we got to follow the census data. But I'll be honest. So personally, I believe God was on my side and he was looking out for me. And the way my map turned out to be was very compact. It looks everything, and everybody looks at my map. They're like, wow, how did you do this? And I go, well, I had the man upstairs watching over me, and he made it happen. Yeah.
Okay. When you were saying that you were a part of a little bit of Avondale, a little bit of Hermosa, a lot of people actually don't know this, but since Chicago is so big, there's multiple aldermen in one.
Yes.
What is it called? Like
neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So like in Hermosa, we have myself. We have Alderman Jesse Fuentes. We have Anthony Casada. Those are the two. And then in Belmont-Cragen, we have myself.
4, right?
Yeah, myself, Jesse Fuentes, Alderman Ruth Cruz, and Gil Villegas. Those are the 4 that represent Belmont-Cragen.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Did you guys clash hats a lot, maybe?
Oh,
we learn to compromise and have conversations.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big yes.
Yeah. Well, I tell you the way, because you have to understand we're different in our social ideology politically.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Do
Yep.
you guys like
Yeah.
have different like
So
goals?
like Alderman Vegas and myself, we're more in common central. Alderman Jesse Fuentes and Alderman Ruth Cruz, they're more progressive left. So, or
So
progressive.
I think you guys represent different people.
Mm-hmm.
Same neighborhood, different people, and also you guys are talking to different people. So it's different goals. It's different. So then, yeah,
So I
it
always
makes sense.
So former state rep Miguel Santiago always tell me you have to know your residents, and you have to know who the people you represent. So the people that live in Avondale don't think like the ones that live in Belmont Cragen. The residents live in Hermosa don't think as Belmont Cragen. And needless to say, same as Portage, because everybody's issues are different in each
Right.
neighborhood.
Yep.
So you have to find a sense of balance on how you're gonna determine what goes where, or how they think
Yep.
and how to vote.
Yep.
But they all have a common sentiment, and I hear them. And I'm always boots on the ground. I'm always on the street, talking to residents. I go to the best way of me talking to my residents is going to block parties and having one-on-one and asking them certain questions and getting their feedback. And that would determine how I do certain things in the neighborhood.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there is no best time than when someone's relaxed at home.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I'm going to have a block party. I'm going to cook out. Like, I have time to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, believe me, they do. I mean, they they push me to the side. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you what an alderman does. An alderman does the services we provide are abandoned vehicles, animal control, building issues, forestry requests, garbage carts, lights, street lights and alley lights, parking enforcement, police issues, pothole repairs, residential parking, sanitation issues, sewer cleaning, repair, sidewalk inspections, speed humps, and then alley humps,
Okay.
water leaks, and others. So when I go to these block parties, they're like, hey, Alderman or Concejal, mira ese árbol. Look at that tree. And I was like, okay. He goes, that tree is giving me problems. And I was like, I understand. And I tell them, I don't like cutting trees unless it's giving you some severe problems. And, their problems are when it rains, they get water in their basement because of the roots are blocking the water flow going
Makes sense.
going out. So I always tell them, if that's the issue, then I need receipts. So give me your receipts as copies, and then I would take down your tree. And they do. They give me the receipts that they pay for root cleaning, cleaning that certain pipe, and then at the same time, I always tell them, listen, once I take it down, can I put another tree back? Majority of them says no. Some of them says yes. And I tell them the tree that they put in is going to be a small tree. It's not going to give you any backup sewage problems because it's small. The roots haven't grown. And it takes many, many years for a tree to grow. And I go, I don't think you'll be here around that time.
Right.
So let's
That's the
put
next
back,
alderman's problem.
it's the next alderman's problem. But the thing is, like, we have to think, we got to be very conscientious of the environment, and we got to be conscientious of how plants, trees are a form of oxygen in our city, and it helps with shade in our houses for energy bills and things like that. So we got to be very conscious of that.
Wait, and I was about to ask that. I was like, it seems like you have a little bit of love towards trees. But, I mean, you just explained it, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
So that's what my job consists of.
I always wondered who handles the trees, man.
Well, here's the thing. They 2 or 3 years ago, they changed how trees are being trimmed. They put in a grid system. So in the grid system is like the garbage. The garbage gets picked up in a grid because back then we used to have trucks in every ward had a garbage truck. So now what they do is centralize garbage trucks in certain wards, and certain days they go out as a group in grids to pick up garbage. So they did the same thing with tree trimming. Matter of fact, last week, one of my blocks was getting tree trim, right? And they go, this is how they go. They first go in, they do inspections, they see which trees are going to trim and see what trees cannot be trimmed. And I don't know who does it, it's forestry that comes out. Once they go through the whole survey, what they do is they put it in the system, and then the truck comes and does the trimming. Well, this one resident had an issue with her tree, and she's like, could you please trim it? They're like, no, we can't. And you know what? It's unfortunate that they could have done it, but they're just, I don't control forestry, but I do understand like they have to follow certain protocols. So they're like, call the alderman, call the alderman's office. Because if they call our office, we're able to call the manager, and the manager could call them and let them. But the thing is, the manager at that time was on vacation, so I couldn't get it done. Right. So I told my staff to let her know that I'll follow up when the guy comes back, the manager, so then I could have a conversation. So he could send a crew just to trim her tree. But it's just things like that, we have you got to have relationships in different departments in order for it to get done. I tell residents, if you call 311, you're calling the whole city. You're in that whole city database. If you call our office, we try to micromanage and also filter it out to the department that has to go to. And also, what I do is I send emails and phone calls to the department heads so they could push it up and see if to get it done in a timely manner. It takes time, but it gets done.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
In a situation like there's a pothole and like if it's taken forever to get fixed, well, what's usually like the hold up there?
I'm going to tell you, potholes is a big issue. The transportation department has one crew for every 7-8 wards.
Damn. One crew
for 7 to 8 wards.
Jeez.
So just think about how many residents I have in my ward, how big my district is. My colleagues' districts are similar to mine.
Yeah.
So we don't have enough staff or enough people on the pothole crew to do it right away. So we always tell people to be patient. If I could do it my way, honestly, if I could do the potholes, fill them up, I would do it myself because that's how I am. I don't like to wait, but it gets very frustrating, and I feel the residents' frustration when there's potholes. On a other note, since I've been elected so I got elected in 2019, and ever since 2019, I have resurfaced over 50 streets. And as you can see in front of your
Fullerton, yeah,
right here, Fullerton Avenue, I've been fighting for that for years, and it came into flourish back in 2023. But again, government takes time, but eventually it's going to get done. So I'm so happy that I'm getting Fullerton Avenue. My first piece of Fullerton that covers my district was by Central all the way to Laramie, Lockwood. And then the second phase, which is now, it's Lockwood all the way to Cicero. But, there's still a lot of work to be done. And I'm always, trying to make the streets better. Last year, I did Lamont over here east of us. Last year, I did Lamont Street from Belden all the way to Roscoe. Wow. Yeah, and I did sidewalks and curves. This year, if you go down Laverne, you'll see Laverne getting sidewalks and curves being done. And at the end, I'm going to do a whole brand new street from Belden all the way to Roscoe. So next year, crossing my fingers, I fight be Leclerc, right by you. That would be next year's. So little by little, I'm doing things, and residents are seeing the, you know, the neighborhood change. They're seeing the neighborhood road being changed. Things are changing, and you know, and it's me just listening to residents, and also, you know, thinking what would be good in the 31st ward.
Yeah. From your point of view, like fixing something like that, like a street or a sidewalk and all that, would you say it's like you make a call, it goes into the system, and then until it happens, or you just have to
No.
keep pushing and pushing and pushing?
Every year we have a meeting with water department, transportation, gas. Those three, we have a yearly meeting. I'm gonna tell you something else. With my team and myself, we do a lot of surveys. We ride around, marking every pothole, every alley, every street, every light pole that we know that has to get done. And it doesn't happen very fast. I have to budget that for the year. So when I go to these meetings, I already did my homework. I go, this is what needs to be done, because they give me a proposal. And the funny thing is, sometimes the proposal, 80% of the time, lies on top of my proposal. And then the 20%, I fill in the rest because they feel that it was not important to them, and it's more important to the residents. So that's what I do as an alderman, as well as I do a lot of surveys with my staff. We ride around, we mark down bent signs. You know, we would love to fix bent signs right away, but again, that department lacks staffing, and it takes a while. But government, it's not fast as people want it to be. You just got to be patient. It'll get done, but you just got to be patient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I'm gonna switch it up a bit.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna start with a little personal. How old were you when you decided to become an alderman
Wow.
or pursue that?
So, I'm going to tell my age. So I just turned 50. So it's been 6 years. So what is it, 44? 44 years old.
Okay.
And just to give you a little personal note, I never thought to become an alderman.
Okay.
I worked in government for 24 years before I became alderman. When I was growing up, I was telling you earlier, I grew up in Logan Square. Well, I don't know if that was Logan Square, but from 85 to 2004, I lived on Fullerton and Rockwell. And then we moved to Avondale by Pulaski and Belmont. Over there, we rented an apartment. My wife, we started a family, and then we bought our first house in Hermosa, right on Diversey and Costner.
Nice.
On Low. And but my life has been interesting because when I was younger, I wanted to become a Catholic priest.
Okay.
So in high school, I decided to go to Quigley Seminary, and it was a seminary downtown, and it was like, if you're interested in priesthood, but it's also a high school. It was Cardinal Burdening. He was a cardinal at that time. That was his school. So it's always a cardinal school. And I decided to go there because I felt like that was my calling to serve in the Catholic ministry. I graduated and I went to Mundelein for 1 year, and I decided that was not my calling. And then I got into government. My dad is the one who pushed me to go into government. And then I went to school. I was studying criminal justice and minor in political science. And then I was going to go to law school, and I was hoping to be a lawyer, but God had different plans. You know, God had different plans, and I was obedient and decided to go into government and go into politics because my dad was into politics. So
Okay.
I got into politics because of my dad, and he was a business owner. Also, my dad, he was the first businessman back in the late 70s. I don't know, we're talking about where my house used to be. There was a bank called the Cabello de San Juan Credit Union. Do you remember that bank? It was right there on Fullerton and Washtenaw, right across the street from Has Park.
Oh, it's like
What
a
was
little,
it called
yeah,
again?
yeah. It's like a
The
little
credit union.
Yeah, it's like a little dome, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I
So-
see. Yeah.
In the late 1970s, Latinos were being redlined. We couldn't get loans for cars. We couldn't get loans for homes because we're Latinos. So a bunch of businessmen got together, and one of the businessmen, especially my dad, was Mr. Mendez. If you know who Mr. Mendez is, he's the one that owns the McDonald's right on Cicero, on Diversey. So him and my dad and other businessmen all came together and created a board, and the board became the bank. And my dad was he was a president of the board at one time, also small store owner, small business owner. So that's my dad, and you know he's always got me. When I was a kid, he would take me to banquets. He would take me everywhere. And I would be like, why are you taking me to these things?
Right.
Like, I want to be hanging out with my friends. I want to go play basketball and things like that. And no, he took me and, you know, he kind of got me into this environment. And because I'm here because of him. You know, I appreciate it. I learned a lot from my experience going through life with meeting different people. And it kind of molded me to who I am today. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you say you got into it when you were 40. You said 44 or 46?
44.
You're very young into it then. It hasn't been that much, right?
No, I just turned 50 last
Yeah.
December.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. And
you're still new.
I'm still new, but I've been around. I've been in government around
Yeah, I'm sure your dad helped you a lot.
24
Yes.
years. Yeah.
That too, yeah.
And I've been around, you know, working for different politicians, and then just being around different political organizations and just learning.
Man, like, how does that feel, man? Like what you just said, working for other politicians. Like, what does that even mean?
What does that mean? You learn from them what to do and what not to do.
Okay.
And that's what I learned, what to do and what not to do. You know, my heart is to serve. I don't have, my intentions are never to hurt the community. I don't have personal intentions. I'm not here for fame. People do this because they want to run, because they want to be known. They want fame. They do certain things in the neighborhood because they want fame. And I just do it because I just want to help and serve. When the pandemic happened in 2019, 2020, you know, I was out here feeding the community. I partnered up with Pastor Zayas, Grace and Peace Church. He was giving me food boxes, and I would do food drive-bys in different parts of the ward, just giving out food and masks and hand sanitizers. I did all that because, you know, there was a need for the community because of what we're going through. You know, everything shut down.
Yeah.
You know, people couldn't really go to the stores and buy groceries. So I decided to do drive-bys, groceries, at the parking lot at St. Genevieve's and Maranatha at Foreman High School. I mean, I utilized big parking lots, and I did drive-by feedings, giving people food. And, you know, at the same time, certain churches, giving them a sense of hope, because during that time, you know, you felt helpless. You know, things were not normal.
Right.
And a sense of hope was, you know, sharing a word or praying for them or just showing them love, you know, that we're still here. And that's how I feel, how I serve my residents.
Okay. That makes sense. I want to ask you, I'm very curious, what does a day in the life of Felix Cardona look like?
Day in the life of Felix Cardona. So let me tell you,
He's like, I'm gonna put it down.
I'm gonna put my coffee down. You're gonna laugh. I'm gonna tell you what my day consists of. So I follow a schedule. I have my work schedule, and that's what's on my calendar. That's how I follow it. Before that, I wake up early in the morning. I have a dog. We just got a dog last year in November, because before this dog, we had a dog that grew up with all of us. His name was Furby. And we had to put him down. He lasted 17 years with us,
It's a long
and
time.
it's a long time. And that was my dog. And it kind of hurt me, and it happened, in 2024, in the spring. It happened a month after my wife's birthday, and my wife is not a dog person. So for Furby, for 17 years, she never touched Furby. She never did anything because she's like, that's your dog.
Right.
Those are the kids' dog. That she's like, don't count on me. If he does accidents, I'm not picking it up. You guys pick it up. And I was like, that's fine. So with Furby, I he was my dog. And, when we had to put him down, he died in her arms. That was the first time she picked him up, and he died in her arms. So that really touched her. And last year, I was going through budget season because every year we go through budget for the city of Chicago. She calls me up, and I go, what's up, honey? And she's like, Felix, I want a dog. I was like, a dog? I was like, what? I'm like, girl, you're not a dog person. I'm like, you didn't even take care of the last dog. She's like, I want a dog. And I was like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah. So I started joking around, like, listen, I gotta listen to this stuff. I'll talk to you when I get home. Right. So I get home, and I'm like, really? You want a dog? She goes, yeah, I want a dog. I don't know, something happened. I think I need a dog. And I was like, all right, fine, we'll see. And then I was like, I still can't. I call my mother. My mother-in-law lives in Peru. So she's Central American, but the husband's South American. They retired and went to Peru. So I call my mother-in-law and I go, hey, Mom. I go, your daughter wants a dog? She goes, oh my God, are you serious? She goes, people change. I go, I think she's going through a midlife crisis.
Maybe.
And I was like, you're going through a midlife crisis. Like, come on. And then I tell the kids are like, they're like, no, I can't. I don't believe it. And she wanted a dog. She found a dog. She went and got him.
Wow.
And he's his name is Osito because he looks like a bear.
Yeah.
Here, I'll show you.
So a puppy still?
He's 10 months old.
10 months old.
Jeez.
Look at him.
Oh my God,
he does look like a
he looks like a bear. So with Osito, she picked him up, and that's like our baby because our kids are grown. My oldest is 28.
Okay.
My youngest is 20, and then there's a 26 and a 22-year-old in between the two and the smallest.
Yeah.
So that's like our baby. So now I'm like, man, what am I gonna do with this dog?
You gotta walk it every morning.
You gotta walk him and everything. So now how my day starts at 6 o'clock, I'm outside walking him, outside to do his business, and then I get in, and then I make his breakfast, get him because I need him to eat. Then my wife gets ready for work, and then I take her to the train station because she works downtown. I come back. Oh, by the way, in the car taking her to work, he's in the car with me.
So he's loved.
He's loved. So I take him with me. We go riding. I bring him home, and then I go exercise. And then I get ready for work, and then I just go out. I put him in his kennel, or if one of the kids are home, they watch him. And then I'm off to work, and my work consists of either I go out dealing with issues that happen in the middle of the night that people emailed, or I have meetings downtown in City Hall. We have committees. I'm on 7 committees or 6 committees. So they're always having meetings. With this administration, it's horrible. They have meetings after meetings, which is pointless at times, and it takes me away from the neighborhood. So I have to go over there because you have to do it. I go because attendance is necessary. It's like school. You go to school, you're marked present. If you don't go, you're marked absent. And they always take a tally who actually does the work and who doesn't. So I go, I see what's going on. Once they're done, I'm flying back into the neighborhood so I could deal with the issues in hand that's happening in the neighborhood. Sometimes I leave the house at 8:30. I don't get home till 9 o'clock at night because there's something always popping. And then during the summer, every Wednesday I do softball for the kids in the neighborhood. I do community softball, which no colleague of mine does in the neighborhood around here, does anything with kids. I've been doing this since 2019, since I got elected, playing softball and kickball, trying to get kids off the street, letting them get to know other kids from different neighborhoods, like kids from Belmont Cragen, knowing kids from Hermosa or Portage or, Avondale. Because the thing is, I use the park as a place of gathering and safe place. But at the same time, I invested a lot of money here since being elected, trying to get parks up to date on the facilities. Not behind you at Cragen Park. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
I worked really hard to allocate money to build a new field house for the kids in the neighborhood. And so it's just, it's just a continuous thing that I have to really work. But that's the day of the Alderman. It's
hardly ever the same day.
Every day is different. Longer hours. I mean, it takes a lot of time, On Sundays, I don't do anything. On Sundays is family day. So I kind of go to church with my family in the neighborhood. We go to Maranatha. Or I sometimes jump around. I go to Grace and Peace or New Life. I jump, but the thing is, my church is Maranatha. But I go to those churches and Chicago Tabernacle just to visit and just to hear different preaching and then come back. And then on Sundays, again, I'm with the family, with my wife, spend time. I have to keep her in the space because if not, things could go sideways.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. It's a balance.
Okay. You want to do a pause because we have to do a great food review, I think, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Felix, have you ever heard about
Have you ever heard of them?
MD?
If you
It's
wanna
MD
hand me
Cakes,
the
correct?
cake, one of them.
If I'm not mistaken, MD.
Yeah, MD Cakes.
MD Cakes.
Have you heard of her?
No.
I forgot her last name, but her name's Maria.
Okay.
Maria, yeah. We were at the event. She was at the event that we went to for the...
Oh, come on. How many events has
Yeah, I'm
Felix?
sure. Yeah. But that's why I look this way. What was it?
There's the Hermosa Belmont Cragen Chamber of Commerce. The one we did.
Yeah. She was present.
Oh, she was?
And that's
At the
when we started
restaurant,
working
yeah.
together
Okay.
a couple days later. So we introduced this company into our store, and it's been doing really good. And I think the cakes are worth at least giving us a good food review. And
Yeah.
and let me see. Can
You know,
hand me the other
you
one,
know what's
please?
amazing? I look at you guys, and you guys are skinny for having a store because when
May I have the...
I am gonna tell you.
You wouldn't survive.
Well,
You eat. I was
we're
like
gonna
that
try.
at the
Well, here-
beginning. Yeah, it's
here's the thing. Like when my parents had the store, I was. So I'm gonna tell you, I was the fat kid. I was always the chips. The
I
candy,
would be too, man.
The chips, the candy, the dulces. I mean, like this stuff.
as a kid, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you get older, you start to look
Oh, you got
into
your spoon.
eating healthy and looking at other things healthy
Yeah.
in different ways.
Yeah, that's the worst skill I've ever learned in my life is learning calories.
So what I'm gonna
hate
try is churros de tres leches.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
trying
Sal
the
just
regular
destroyed
tres
his
leches.
already.
This is great. I already tried it, so I know it's good.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
good. Here, man.
So
Try this.
the thing about Maria,
Sorry, let me give it
so
more.
MD Cakes, cookies, and more. The thing about her, and this is something she told us in the beginning before we started doing business. She's like, I pride myself in quality.
Mhm.
She's
This
like,
is
there's a
different.
lot of times you go to a restaurant or you go buy a tres leches cake or something, and it's just something you could taste that it's not quality, right? So then something about her was that, and then at first I was like, yeah, okay, let me try your tres leches cake. So then I tried it and I was like, oh geez, it's actually pretty good.
No, it's fire. It's fire. And the thing is, like, I have a big sweet tooth.
You gonna keep going?
I'm hungry. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead, man. Go ahead. I
really
I
good.
have a big sweet tooth, so I'm always, eating sweets. That's why I look the way I look. I mean, if I could take away sweets, I'd be less than 200 pounds. but I love sweets.
Yeah, me too.
It's just it's my kryptonite.
I'm a big fan. I personally think it's some great tres leches.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Out of 10, I'll probably give her a.
Del 1 al 10, yo le
I'll give
daría
her a
un
9.
9, yeah.
I'll give her
I
a
give her a
9.
9. And I'm not into tres leches, but this is fire. It's really good.
Ese es el de churros.
Yeah.
de tres
That's
leches.
the
Yeah.
top seller.
That's like that I had never tasted in my life.
Oh my God, it's
So it's really good. She's
amazing.
really good at it, and she keeps them fresh. So she
And
keeps them coming fresh as well.
you know what I applaud you guys for accepting someone who does like this is like small business, home business, and you guys open that door for them to actually come and sell their product in your store. And to me, that's amazing what you guys are doing because you're in a way giving back to the neighborhood indirectly, but you're supporting small businesses as well as yourself as being a small business.
Yeah.
That's the only way to grow, man. Honestly.
And, I mean, on top of that, too, I mean, yes, 100% like doors are open for businesses like that, especially local ones. But the ones who decide at the end of the day are the customers.
Yes.
Exactly.
The first day she brought the cakes, they sold out in like 3 hours.
Wow.
It was like
First day.
first day. And I sent her a message. I was like, hey, I think we're all out.
And at the event, we warned her because we were like, look, we worked with other people before. And the problem that we have is that we start asking for more and more and more. And
They
then
can't keep
they
up.
don't want to do them. They get lazy. Or they just think that the volume is too much and they're not ready for that.
Yep.
Supply
It's
and demand.
happened, yeah. so yeah, I mean, we did tell them like,
Yeah.
look, we're gonna keep ordering maybe twice or 3 times a week. Are you sure you're gonna be able to do that?
Yeah.
And she has not failed so far. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
she's delivered.
She delivered. She's keeping to her word, but
Yeah.
she's keeping to the way
Yes.
the product is being made, which is
good.
delicious.
And she also does like whole cakes as well. Like
wow.
if you ever want like a whole cake, she says she does. I think she
Good
was
to
working
know.
on the digital menu or something like that for those. But
Good to
but
know.
she does like do the full cakes for events, you
Good
know,
to know.
anything. So
It's
Good to know.
anyway,
good. Yeah.
back to our conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you. I got another question for you, Felix. Here,
What's that?
what does the future hold for you? What are you looking? What are your future plans? Let's say in the next 2 years from now.
Next 2 years, I'll be running for re-election here.
Okay.
People are very excited for me, or they've seen I'm a hard worker and I'm always giving 120%. And then one thing you gotta know for me, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not gonna lie to you or BS you, because that's what politicians did before. And I tell people, I'm not a politician. I am a public servant. I'm here to serve you. I'm going to tell you how it is, even though you don't want to hear the answer, or you don't like the answer. I'm going to give you the answer because I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to have this honest conversation. Because even when I was running, they're like, well, if you do this for me, I'll give you my vote. And I'm like, then give your vote to my opponent.
Right.
And, you're going to learn that I don't work that way. I don't work under those circumstances. I don't work under those environments. And people got to see that I'm very, that I'll straight up with you. I'll be forward with you. I'm not gonna give you a lie. I'm not gonna give this. Over here is gonna be rainbows and sunshines. I go, we're gonna pass this storm, and this is what the storm consists of. But at the end, it's gonna get done. You just gotta have patience. And I'm always, my wife always tells me, you always put your residents first before the family, because I'm always working.
Right.
My job doesn't stop. At night, things are popping or things are happening. I'm texting my chief of staff. I'm texting my office manager. Hey, I got this email. Let's look at it tomorrow, because I'm not gonna be able to look. I need you guys to go look at it and see what's going on. So, it's just very, very. I love my job, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing else.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
too.
And they asked me, hey, why don't you run for? Are you gonna run for this? I'm like, no, because I love what I do here, and I'm not looking for political aspirations for a next government job or a next elected position. This is the end for me.
But what if the opportunity ever comes up where you can be put in a position where you can help more people? Would you at least consider it?
Yeah, but you have to understand, before I ran for this position, I had to consider it, and I had to consider it with someone else, and that was the man upstairs. I did a lot of praying. I did a lot of fasting. I did a lot of, trying to, when you're in situations, you always ask God, if this is what it is, put people in front of me or give me signs.
Right.
And I'm always like that. I always, if something comes up, put it in prayer, and I'll do what I have to do. But I ask God, if this is what you want me to do, you will let me know. So that's how I see things, and I tell people that too as well. They're like, hey, why don't you go for this? I'm like, no, I'm happy and content being here.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah,
I think that's very important. I think I also run into the same thing, because when we decided to, come for the store, a lot of people would ask me well, not a lot of people, my closest people to me, my friends and family, some of them would be like, why do you really want this? I'm like, because I don't know. I just feel like I have passion for it. I feel like I really want to do this. I don't see myself doing something else.
Right.
I really don't. I just really enjoy this. I really like doing this. I don't mind being in the store 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.,
Yeah.
I really don't. For me, it's not. This is like my first home, really.
Right. No, it is.
And it becomes like that. And I'm sure, if your father were here, he'd probably say the same, because it's like, I don't know. I'm here and I feel home. I talk to the people that I've served all this time, and I'm good. I feel good.
Yeah.
I don't know. You, Freddie?
Yeah, it's kind of that. I think your first home, you spend a lot of time at your job, whether you like it or not.
Right.
And it's the truth. If you're blessed enough to be in a situation where you picked your job, or you have the job that you have because of, let's say, the hard work or whatever it is you did, it's a different feeling than hey, I hate my job. I have to go do my 9 to 5. There's gonna be a lot of people that don't understand that.
I've been there,
and you're gonna be judged for it too.
Look at my job. I'm always getting judged. I look past that, because everybody's gonna judge what I do. Someone always has something to say, especially now today in social media. Yeah. Everybody has an opinion.
Yes.
And I look beyond that, because if I let that affect me, I cannot be very effective in my community. And like you guys are. I used to be in your shoes. I used to be running my dad's store 7 days a week, from 8 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. Did I like it? No, but I had to do it. I loved it at one point, but it's like I was like, this is not what was meant for me to do.
Right.
So I did continue helping my dad when he had the store. I was working in government. I was, back and forth. Believe me, offhand, I could tell you, I'm probably the only elected official that got fired from a job, because before I became alderman, I got fired. I lost my house because of the housing crisis, because I had to decide roof over our head or deal with a daughter who got sick. And, it was life and death. And I had to figure out how I'm going to pay the medical bills. And at the same time, I had to figure out how to relocate my family to another house. So when people come and give me their burdens and their hardships, I can relate, because I've been in those shoes. I've been in those shoes of when you're going through stuff and you don't feel that there's an out. And I tell you, there is an out. You just gotta you gotta fight, and you gotta be persistent, and you just gotta, have, look, again, I don't like preaching, but, what got me out of that situation was being in my religion and actually looking for God to get me out of the situation that I was in. But I could say I'm probably the only elected official that's been through normal things that normal people have gone through in the neighborhood, because I don't see my colleagues go through the stuff I went through. You know,
Okay.
I don't see them going through the hardships and things like that. So in that aspect, I always tell people I'm a different kind of elected official. I'm a different kind of person. I am a public servant to serve, not for my own best, but for others. And I get it. When people come to me with their problems, I understand their problems. I understand their hardships. I understand what's going on. You can't feed your family. I couldn't feed my family when we first started. When I first got married, our dinners were scrambled eggs and refried beans and tortillas. That was our dinner. My wife and I, we struggled, but right now we're at a place that, you know, God has given us, and we have been blessed, and I can still keep giving, because I feel when you give, I don't expect in return, but I always get something always happening that is something very special, you know.
Yeah. Plus, you don't know who you're gonna need in the future ever. So
Exactly.
it's like you just got to keep an open mind.
Mhm.
I'd like to think
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's crazy, man.
So you got to know a little bit about me, work and personal.
All right. Well, okay. Tell us more about your father's
My
legacy
father.
with the store and all that. How did you know? Did you ever ask him how he came to think about that? Like, what made him, you know,
So
want to do that?
back in the 60s, when Puerto Ricans came from the island, he was one of them. He lived in, which I didn't know, like by Austin, Ogden over there was a Puerto Rican community over there back in the 60s. I don't know if back of the yards, back then, they in the 60s or 50s, they used to call it Puerto Rican town. There was a bunch of Puerto Ricans in the South Side back then. But, you know, the whole migration from Puerto Rico to here to the United States, to Chicago, my dad came in here living in, you know, different neighborhoods, but also worked in factories. And then he ended up working in Zenith, that was over here by Narragansett back in the days. I even have a picture of him in his little suit and everything. And the story goes that when he's like, he was a hustler, he was an entrepreneur, and he felt like he could open up a business. And the business was a bodega. The first bodega was on Humboldt Park in Sacramento. And it was on
Oh, wow.
yeah. And it was in actually the building. So funny story is my mom's brother, he worked really hard, and that was his first building. It was like a 6-unit with 4 commercials. So my dad, one of the commercials was a bar, which was my uncle's. And then the 6 units, he rented it out. And my dad took one of the commercial spaces and made his store. So that was the first store. And then back then, late 60s, 70s, you know, there was that area was heavily populated with Puerto Ricans.
Okay.
So he did very well. And at the same time, dealing with gangs, you know, that was the, you know, that part over there was like, it was King's Nation, you know, the gang. And then my dad decided to open up a second store, which was on Fullerton and Rockwell. And he opened up that store. Then he sold the store on Armitage to my mom's other brother. And then he had that store for himself.
Okay.
So it was like a whole generational wealth being within the family. So that's how we ended up on Fullerton and Rockwell. In 1981, he decided to buy the store. Then in 85, that's when he moved us upstairs of the store. So it was kind of easy for him to wake up, get dressed, go downstairs, and open up the store. Yeah. So my dad was involved in that. My dad was involved in the Puerto Rican community. Like I tell you, he was a president, board member for the bank. Then he also was vice president of the Puerto Rican Parade Committee. He was into the community. He loved the community. And I was his tail. He dragged me, and I was learning how things were going, and got introduced to certain people, and this is what I have become today.
Do you look back on your father and like for today's like decisions and stuff, or not really?
Yeah, unfortunately, my dad passed away in 2020.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, he had, he was there when I first won, and he had tears coming out of his eyes because he always wanted me to be elected and, be in a position. And when he passed away, it was really hard for me because he was always the one I always ask him, hey, Pa, what do you think about this? His wisdom and, him working in politics a lot. I didn't have that. I didn't have that, and it hurts because there's times I think, and then I go, "What would you do?"
Mm-hmm.
And then, I would hear his little voice, and then I would be like, "Okay, this is how I should start doing things." Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's strong.
That's strong.
And that's actually beautiful. Like he got to see you in 2019. That's
great. Yeah, that
That's
actually
beautiful.
is good.
yeah.
That's amazing. I don't even want to know like the emotions he
Because
had.
as a
emotions you
son,
had.
you always want your father's
Yeah, be
validation,
proud of
right?
him.
Yeah.
Like, right? I don't know. I mean, I just
But I'm gonna tell
It's
you.
gotta be
I'm gonna tell you a funny story. My mom, she passed away in 2015. She passed away with Alzheimer's, and both of my parents, I took care of them to the end. I took care of my mom to the end. I took care of my dad to the end. He died at my house. I had him in hospice. I brought him to the house. We stayed with him as a family to the end. That day I had city council. After I had my city council, I ran downstairs. As soon as I ran downstairs to the basement where we had him, because we had a room downstairs, he passed away. So my mom was always a heart of giving and a servant. So my mom, when I would say like 1999, when I was graduating from college, she's like, Junito, you should run. You should run. I'm like, run for what? I'm like, I ain't gonna run for nothing, because I was running campaigns. And I was being very successful running campaigns. And she's like, Junito, just run for office. One day you're gonna be in office. I see that. And I go, okay, Mom. I go, at this moment, I'm having so much fun running campaigns and things like that. In 2018, I was in my backyard, and I was just there, like, I was by myself, and I heard my mom's voice saying that to me, "Run, Junito, run." and I was like, are you haunting me?
right.
It's like, and at that time we had former Alderman Millie Santiago, who was at this position, and I kept on hearing my mom's voice, "Run, Junito, run," and I'm like, okay, stop, and I kept on hearing her voice, and I think she's the one that basically motivated me to actually do this too, to run for this position as well. Because in her heart, she always felt that I would be a great elected, a great public servant. But she didn't get to see it. My dad got to see it. And, when I ran in 2023 for re-election, it was really hard because my dad wasn't there. And it felt a little bit of emptiness because he was not present. But I know he was looking down, and he was probably smiling good.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure he was. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's a great story.
I
Thank you
got
for sharing that with us, man.
I got 3 questions real quick.
Go ahead.
In the beginning, we completely forgot to ask you. You have 1 hour, right?
Don't worry, we could go.
Okay. Can we speed run some questions that I
Yeah.
have on my phone?
Go ahead.
Oh my god, my chain got stuck. Okay. So, my brother asked what motivated you. We got that one. Okay. How How would you explain the role of an alderman to someone new to Chicago?
Easy. I always say wherever they came from, what city, there's either a mayor or a trustee or a council. Those are familiar words where they always come from. So I ask them, was there a councilman or a trustee in the previous cities or suburb that you lived in? They're like, yeah. I go, well, that's who I am. So I'm a councilman, but the word, we don't use council, we use alder. And I explained to them how the mayor runs the city of Chicago. I kind of run the district, So, and I tell them, this is what I do. All these jobs that I told you earlier, what an alderman does, this is what we do, and I'm here to help.
Cool. I'm sure the cards help.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Hand them out.
Oh, I give these cards at my block parties. I had like, we call police. I'm getting them made because I ran out of all of them that we made. So I'm just giving this with my information and the services that we provide. Same thing that we do, what we put on our call, police.
Okay. Then we got, what's an example of a local issue in your ward that you've worked to address?
There's a lot.
Or the most common?
Yeah.
Most common is public safety. So, with this mayor that we have, he took away shot spotter, which is gun detection. So when they fire a gunshot, it detects it, and we learn what's going on, where it's coming from a specific area. So he took that out. So the whole point of it is not detecting it. He says crime has gone down because no one's calling. But I bet you, if we put that thing back on, it's gonna tell you a whole different story. So public safety is one of the issues when things happen in the neighborhood. I work with the majority of my ward is in the 25th district, police district, or the 16th district. That's the northern end of the ward. When things happen, we have a communication, we find out, and then what we do is we do meet the block. So what meet the block is when I go out with my officers and I knock on doors to see if residents are home, so we could give them information, but also have that communicate. We could talk. We communicate to each other like, did you see something? You see something going on strange during the day, during the night, during the weekend, and so forth. So they give us information. And then, from there, if it's really, really bad, then we have a community meeting, and we address the issue to the residents in the community that are directly impacted. So I'm going to use this word, directly impacted, is it happened there. Because when people have community meetings, they think anybody could go to those meetings and give their input when they're not directly impacted. So they're giving their opinion, which they don't live there, but they're giving their opinion, which they're not the ones who dealt with the whole issue.
Right.
So, when we have our meetings, we flyer. I don't put it on social media, because if I do, then I'm going to have people from my different neighborhoods coming in and weighing in on what's going on.
Right.
And that's not fair to the people who went through the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I know you also mentioned that you do a good amount of block parties, but one of the questions is, how do you engage with the community members to understand their priorities and concerns? Is that the main one? Would it be block parties?
Yep. Because that's boots on the ground. That's me having their conversation one-on-one and getting to know what are the concerns, what are the issues, like what are the thoughts. And I try to, I have one of my staffers there taking notes because I have to address it, Here, the biggest one is, do you agree that the mayor should give a 1% grocery tax? Because now the state took it out and so forth. So I'm going around having that conversation still, and also property taxes, having that conversation with property taxes, because property taxes are going, they did go up. They are going to go up. Just wait till that second installment comes. But he wants to put, he did not increase it. It was the assessor that increased the property tax. He didn't put his levy up because we voted it down. He's asking us to increase the levy for next year. But he says he doesn't want to do it, but he's going to do it because he always talks from both sides of his mouth. So I always have this conversation. If it comes up for the property tax, how do you feel? No. How do you feel about the grocery tax? No. How do you feel about corporate tax? Some say yes. Majority says no because they know that if you do a corporate tax, big businesses are going to leave Chicago. They already left Chicago. And they're going to leave more. And what happens to the taxes? It comes down to who? To us, the middle class. And also those who are not middle class, who's like lower middle class, which is the majority of our residents, they're going to feel that burden, you know? So it's just like, you know, we always got to have that conversation and see what's going, you know, how they feel. And I'm always doing it. I even drive, I stop, I talk to residents. You know, it's a shame when I used to do community meetings. I do community meetings when I have zoning changes, but when I have my zoning changes, I do it with the impacted area who are going to be most affected. And, you know, people feel that they're free to opinion, even though they don't live there, they have an opinion for that zoning and they don't. So when I do my zoning issues, I deal it with the people that are going to be affected. So it's just like, you know, having these conversations with residents, even through small things, I'm always talking. I know the pulse of the residents. I know the pulse of the neighborhood. And I keep that in my head all the time. Always.
That's amazing.
The last one here is, what's the most surprising or challenging part of being an alderman that you didn't expect when you took office?
How long the city takes to do a job.
Yeah. You probably wanted to do everything right away, right? Just tackle.
Oh my God.
It
takes long, and it's so aggravating. And it's very aggravating because I feel the aggravation because I'm the one that gets the calls.
Yeah.
I'm the one and it's just, it takes long.
You're the face. You're the
I'm
one
the
who has to
face.
give the answer.
Yeah, people think you're lying because
Yeah.
it's taking too long. or
Exactly.
whatever.
And it's like, it's going to, you know, you just got to be patient.
Yeah.
You know, so if there's one thing I could change in government is the speed, how things should be handled.
Do you think it's possible?
It's possible if you do it the right way. Reason I say that because most of these people in these positions, well, the departments, right? Majority of them, they already have 25 years in government. So the bottom is empty. They're not filling that bottom. So they have to hire. That bottom is not being hired. So those people who are almost there, 25 years of service, almost 30 years, what do you think how they are? I'll get to it when I get to it. That's how it is. If we start changing how things are, rearranging certain things, and we got to be very fiscally responsible to the budget, to what we revenue is as we get, because there's a lot of fat that we got to be cutting, and they don't want to cut the fat because of, you know, again, political patronage or, you know, old school politics. So that's a pain, and I see it, and I get frustrated. That's why I always, you know, I'm always talking to my commissioners. Hey, could you do me a favor? Could you do me a solid? Could you just do this so I could get this done? And, you know, the relationship I have with them, they're great because I'm not a majority of my colleagues demand, and they demand with authority and disrespect. I demand with respect, but I also demand with authority, but in a sense of way that I get them with, you know, you get honey, you get bees with honey, not with vinegar.
Yeah.
And that's how I do it. I treat them with respect. I demand it, and they get to it. I may not get it today, but I know I'll get it 2 or 3 days later. But it's gonna get done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, I got one last shout out. And
All
that's
right.
gonna be for Insight Sign Company with Chris. And these guys are great, man. They took care of our aisle signs.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, we just installed them, I think, a week ago.
Days ago.
Days ago? Yeah, days ago. And yeah, these guys are great, man. So if you ever want to look at them, it's they're at 3910 West Grand Avenue in Chicago, Illinois, 60651. They're also local. Great guys. Check them out, man.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll put their information and same with MD Cakes on the title and description.
That's right by Jimmy's Hot Dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very local. Man.
Yeah.
And good work, man. So thank you.
No problem.
You have anything for Mr. Felix?
No, I think that was it.
For Junito?
Junito.
Bonito. Felix.
I just want to say thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to, for people who come into your podcast to get to know me, who want to understand me, who want to understand my work, but also get a personal view of my life. You know, it's a hard job and it's not meant for everybody. People want to do this job for publicity, for fame and things like that. And we've seen it because the person I beat, that's how she was. And she let the district, she let the neighborhoods go, not servicing them. They went in a different direction. So I always tell people, if you like the job I'm doing, you have to keep me in. If you don't, it's okay, because I could, you know, I'm at a place in life that I know other doors are going to open.
Of course.
And, you know, I'm just here temporarily. I am not going to stay here till I turn 70 or 60 something. That's not me, because my wife would not allow it. So, but as long as I'm here and I love my job and the people still believe in me and I'm doing the job, I will continue doing it to the best of my ability. And I'll always give 120%.
Yeah. Mr. Cardona, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. This was story time with Yuyo. What happened?
Do the sponsorship.
What sponsorship?
Us. Sure.
Oh, well, yeah.
Main thing. That's the main thing, bro.
You're cutting me
We're
off.
sponsoring ourselves.
Guys, this was Story Time with Yuyo. Don't forget, guys, the Story Time with Yuyo is presented by Yuyo's Fresh Market. We are located in Belmont and Cragen. Come check us out, 5020 West Fullerton Avenue. We have some bonfires, some great groceries, and we'd love to see you guys. Thank you.
And they're located in 31st Ward.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are. Thank you
Peace
very
out.
much
Thank
for
you,
your
guys.
time.
Thank you.
Peace. Bye.
Bye.